My friend, before you listen to another word, hear this carefully. If this message found you tonight, it was not an accident. Maybe you've been crying silently. Maybe you've been questioning why certain people changed, why some relationships suddenly became cold, why people you once trusted started acting like strangers, why conversations feel forced now, why your spirit feels tired around people who once felt like home. And deep inside, you keep asking God the same painful question: why are people leaving my life? But what if they are not leaving by accident? What if God is removing people who can no longer go where He is taking you? Stay with me until the end of this message, because what you are about to hear may completely change the way you see heartbreak, rejection, betrayal, and separation forever. Some people are blessings, some are lessons, some are temporary assignments, and some people only enter your life to reveal what still needs healing inside you. But not everyone who enters your story is meant to stay until the final chapter. That truth hurts, especially when your heart was genuine, especially when you stayed loyal, especially when you loved people who slowly became distant while you were still fighting to keep the connection alive. But hear me clearly tonight. God will never allow certain people to remain in your life if their presence is blocking your peace, delaying your purpose, or damaging your spirit. And sometimes the hardest part is that the people God removes are the very people you wanted to keep forever. That is why separation feels so painful. Because your heart remembers who they used to be. You remember the laughter, the memories, the late night conversations, the promises, the comfort, the feeling that they would always be there. But seasons change, and sometimes people change with them. One of the greatest spiritual mistakes people make is assuming every relationship is permanent. It is not. Even Jesus experienced betrayal. Even Jesus experienced abandonment. Even Jesus stood among people who smiled in His face while secretly preparing to walk away from Him. So why are you shocked when human beings disappoint you? People are imperfect. That is why your peace can never depend entirely on another person, because people change, feelings change, circumstances change. But God does not. And maybe this season is teaching you to stop placing your emotional survival into the hands of people who were never meant to carry that responsibility. Listen carefully. Some people cannot go where God is taking you because they are attached to an older version of you. They liked you when you stayed small, when you doubted yourself, when you accepted disrespect, when you ignored your worth, when you tolerated emotional chaos just to avoid being alone. But the moment you started healing, the moment you started setting boundaries, the moment you started protecting your peace, everything changed, because growth exposes unhealthy connections. And suddenly, the people who once had easy access to your energy begin feeling uncomfortable around the new version of you. Not because you became arrogant, but because healing changes your standards. You stop begging for basic respect. You stop chasing people who give mixed signals. You stop forcing conversations. You stop shrinking yourself to keep others comfortable. And not everyone benefits from your healing. That is why some people slowly disappear when you finally begin valuing yourself. My friend, hear this carefully tonight. Every separation is not punishment. Sometimes it is protection. Sometimes God sees conversations you never heard. He sees intentions you never noticed. He sees manipulation hidden behind fake smiles. He sees jealousy hiding behind compliments. He sees people secretly competing with you while pretending to support you. And because He loves you, He removes them before they can damage your destiny. But human nature struggles with of letting go. We replay memories, we reread old messages, we romanticize people who repeatedly hurt us. We hold on to expired relationships because we fear loneliness more than dysfunction, and that is dangerous because staying emotionally attached to the wrong people can quietly destroy your peace, your confidence, your purpose, and even your relationship with God. Some people drain your spirit every time they speak. You feel anxious around them, confused around them, emotionally exhausted around them, and deep inside, your soul keeps warning you. This connection is no longer healthy, but many people ignore spiritual warnings because they are addicted to emotional familiarity. Familiar pain still feels comfortable, even when it hurts. And that is why God sometimes removes people suddenly. Not because he wants to hurt you, but because he wants to save you. There are relationships you cry over today that you will thank God for ending later. There are doors you desperately wanted opened that would have destroyed your future. There are people you miss right now who would have broken your spirit if they had stayed longer. Time reveals what emotions cannot. Right now, your heart may only see the loss, but God sees the full picture. He sees where certain people would eventually lead you. And because his vision is greater than yours, he protects you in ways you may not understand yet. Joseph probably did not understand why his brothers betrayed him. David probably did not understand why he spent years running from enemies. Job probably did not understand why everything collapsed at once. But later, the purpose became clear. And one day, your story will become clear too. One day, you will realize that certain endings were necessary for your transformation, because God cannot elevate you while you remain emotionally chained to people committed to keeping you spiritually stuck. Some people only love the version of you they can control. The moment you become stronger, wiser, more disciplined, more connected to God, they become uncomfortable. Not everyone celebrates your growth. Some people benefit more from your brokenness than your healing, and this is why discernment matters, because not everyone who enters your life is assigned by God. Some people are distractions, some are tests, some are lessons disguised as relationships, and sometimes God removes people because their assignment in your life is complete. Nothing more, nothing less. Not every ending needs hatred. Sometimes people simply cannot continue the journey with you. Their season expired, and trying to force expired relationships to survive usually creates more pain. My friend, let me tell you something powerful tonight. You cannot carry old emotional baggage into the new life God is preparing for you. You cannot enter peaceful seasons while clinging to toxic attachments. You cannot hear God clearly while constantly surrounded by emotional noise. That is why isolation sometimes becomes necessary. And yes, isolation can feel lonely, very lonely. There are nights when silence feels heavier than words. Nights when you stare at the ceiling, wondering why people changed. Nights when you question your worth because someone walked away from you. But never confuse rejection with lack of value. People leaving your life does not mean you are unlovable. Sometimes it simply means they were not aligned with your future anymore. A train does not stop moving because some passengers get off, and neither should you. Do not waste years trying to convince people to appreciate what they were determined to overlook. Do not destroy your mental health trying to save connections that God already removed. And please hear this carefully. Stop blaming yourself for every ending. Not every failed relationship was your fault. Some people lack emotional maturity. Some people only know how to receive love, not give it. Some people are loyal only when it benefits them. Some people leave the moment life becomes inconvenient. That is human nature. But your responsibility is not controlling people. Your responsibility is protecting your spirit. Jesus himself walked away from crowds to pray alone. Even he understood the importance of separation and solitude. So why do you feel guilty for protecting your peace? Boundaries are not cruelty. Sometimes boundaries are wisdom. Sometimes saying no is obedience. Sometimes walking away is the beginning of healing. And healing changes everything, because healed people stop chasing closure from people who wounded them. They stop begging for explanations. They stop trying to force loyalty from emotionally unavailable people. Instead, they surrender everything to God and keep moving forward. That is strength. Real strength is staying kind without allowing people to misuse your heart. Real strength is forgiving people without reopening doors God closed. Real strength is trusting God even when your emotions still ache. And maybe tonight you are still grieving someone who already moved on. Maybe a friendship ended. Maybe a relationship collapsed. Maybe people you trusted betrayed you. Maybe somebody walked away without explanation, and the pain still follows you everywhere. But hear this carefully tonight. God is not asking you to understand everything immediately. He is asking you to trust Him while healing happens, because healing is not instant. Some wounds take time. Some betrayals shake your entire identity. Some separations force you to rebuild yourself from the ground up, but do not rush the process. Even broken bones need time to heal correctly. And sometimes God allows solitude because He is rebuilding your identity away from noise, manipulation, and emotional dependency. There is a version of you that will exist after this pain, a wiser version, a calmer version, a spiritually stronger version, the version that no longer settles for fake love, the version that no longer tolerates emotional chaos, the version that chooses peace over attention, the version that finally understands self-worth. And perhaps this painful season is creating that person. Remember this: the enemy often uses emotional attachment to delay purpose. If he cannot destroy your destiny directly, he will distract you emotionally. He will keep you obsessed with people who no longer belong in your life. He will keep you replaying old memories instead of building your future. He will keep you emotionally exhausted, so you have no energy left for growth, discipline, or purpose. That is why letting go is spiritual warfare. Every day you refuse to chase what God removed, you reclaim your power. Every day you stop begging for validation, you heal. Every day you choose peace over emotional addiction, you grow stronger. And eventually something incredible happens. The same silence that once hurt you becomes peaceful. The same loneliness that once terrified you becomes clarity. The same separation that once broke your heart becomes the reason your life finally changed for the better. One day you will wake up and realize you no longer miss certain people, not because you became cold, but because God healed what was once emotionally dependent. And suddenly, you stop forcing conversations. You stop stalking old memories. You stop checking who left. You stop needing constant reassurance, because your peace no longer depends on unstable people. It depends on God, and that changes everything. My friend, never forget this truth. God removes people for reasons your emotions cannot always understand immediately. Some people leave because they cannot handle your growth. Some leave because they were only assigned for a temporary season. Some leave because God is protecting you from hidden destruction. And some leave because your future simply requires different people. That is life. And maturity is learning not to chase everything that exits your life. If God wanted them to stay forever, they would still be there. Stop trying to resurrect relationships heaven already buried. Stop reopening wounds God is trying to heal. Stop watering dead connections, hoping they will bloom again. Dead things cannot produce living fruit. And maybe tonight, God is asking you to release what you keep trying to hold together. Not because He wants you lonely, but because He wants you free. Free from anxiety, free from emotional confusion, free from toxic cycles, free from people who only contact you when they need something, free from relationships that constantly damage your peace, because peace is expensive, and anything costing your peace is costing too much. Listen carefully to this final truth tonight. Your life is too valuable to spend it begging people to stay. The right people will not constantly make you question your worth. The right people will not repeatedly drain your spirit. The right people will not disappear every time life becomes difficult. And most importantly, the people sent by God will never consistently pull you away from Him. So if certain people disappeared, if connections ended, if relationships suddenly collapsed, stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start asking, what is God protecting me from? That single question can change your entire perspective, because sometimes the greatest blessing is not what enters your life. Sometimes the greatest blessing is what God removes. And maybe one day, years from now, you will look back at this painful season with tears in your eyes and finally whisper, God, now I understand why they had to leave. Until then, keep trusting, keep healing, keep praying, keep growing.